Lemurcode Engineering Mechanics Statics Chapter 6 Friction J. L. Merriam L.G. Craig 7 edition. At first we have an introduction. In the preceding chapters, we have usually assumed that the forces of action and reaction between contacting surfaces act normal to the surfaces. This assumption characterizes the interaction between a smooth surface, and we illustrate in many examples in previous chapters. Although this ideal assumption often involves only a relatively small error, there are many problems in which we must consider the ability of contacted surfaces to support tangential as well as normal surfaces. Tangential forces generated between contacted surfaces are called friction force and occur to some degree in interaction between all real surfaces. Tangential forces generated between contacting surfaces are called friction forces. And occur to some degree in the interaction between all real surfaces. Whenever a tendency exists for one contacting surface to slide along another surface, the friction force developed are always in the direction to the oppose this tendency. The friction whenever a tendency exists for one contacting surface, to slide along another surface, the friction forces developed are always in a direction to oppose this tendency. In some type of machines and processes, we want to minimize the retarding effects of friction forces. Example of are bearing or all types, power screw, gears, the flow of fluid in pipes, and the propulsion aircraft and missiles through the atmosphere. In other situations, we wish to maximize the effect of friction, as in brakes, clutch, belts, drive, and wedges. So, a note here: in some machine and process, we want to minimize the the retarding effects of friction force, such as bearing of all types, power screw, gears, the flow of fluid in pipes, and the propulsion of aircraft and missiles. Aircraft and missiles through the atmosphere. And in some cases, we want to maximize the friction force, such as brakes, clutches, belt drives, and wedges. Wheeled vehicles depend on friction for both starting and stopping, and ordinary walking depend on friction between the shoes and ground. Friction forces are present throughout nature and exist in all machines, no matter how accurately constructed or carefully lubricated. A machine or process in which friction is small enough to be neglected is said to be ideal. A machine or process in which friction is small to be neglected is said to be ideal machine. When friction must be taken into account, the machine or process is termed real. When friction take into account, we have real machine. In all cases where there is sliding motion between parts, the friction forces result in a loss of energy, which is dissipated in the form of heat. Wear is another effect of friction. Frictional phenomena is the next section.